pagans and the abortionists and the feminists and the gays and the lesbians who are actively trying to make that an alternative lifestyle, the ACLU, People for the American Way, all of them.
Look inside your tiny mind and look a bit harder, 'cause we're so uninspired, so sick and tired of all the hatred you harbor. So you say it's not okay to be gay, well I think you're just evil. You're just some racist who can't tie my laces.
The Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project reported that anti-LGBT+ mobilization is increasingly shifting away from demonstration activity toward outright political violence. When Mile High Comics announced the first ever all-ages drag show in 2019, death threats began pouring in. Knowing that anti-LGBTQ language leads to direct violence against the LGBTQ community, Eli and Pasha created Parasol Patrol to protect children and their families as they entered and left the venue. Grounded in nonviolent resistance, Parasol Patrol uses rainbow umbrellas and noise-canceling headphones to physically block the sights and sounds of hate speech.
Especially like the no engagement, no violence, right? Like we're just here. We're just a barrier for kids and awful things being thrown at kids and families. And that really appealed to me because I'm a big believer in violence with violence doesn't quite work.
And as we walk to our first event, there's this line of hatred greeting us. Proud Boys and all sorts of other hate groups that I don't even know the names of. And they're yelling and they're saying foul things to kids. And we get across the street where Parasol Patrol is, and Parasol Patrol is greeting kids with love and with not focused on the hate. They're focused on the love, and they're focused on helping kids feel safe. And I felt safe.
Because one of the guys had come up towards the front of the building, and with me being how I'm like, I don't want to be in the middle of this, I jumped behind some patrollers. Luckily, there was a mom there that I did know, because I've gone to school with her kids before, so she was able to guard me from this guy. They've come to other events before, and they're like Proud Boys. I bet Pasha and Eli would have more.
Parasol Patrol is a site of celebratory resistance.
Behind the parasol, it is joy and as much talking and upbeat talking as we can to distract the kids. But when you
you're just some racist.
You know, we have a good time. We don't let them ruin the good time for us or for the kids.
With the protection of queer elders, like those who volunteer for Parasol Patrol, queer youth turn into badass adults who know they are not a problem to be solved, but rather a person to be celebrated.
They get into drag and they get into this character, and they just light up, and they're so happy, and it's so wonderful.
I've got to see a lot of these kids first time on stage, and they were just, it was all new, and it was a huge stage and a big crowd, and I've watched them come into their own, and just evolved into outstanding human beings, and it's just been great.
Christian nationalists and white supremacist hate groups have increased their violence and their reach.
According to the signal chat that I was able to get into, there's about 7 of them plus our neo-Nazis. Best I can gauge, they're parking down west of us and walking down. So they're supposed to be here. They're going to meet at 9:15.
Parasol Patrol has responded by extending their protective services to include Black, Indigenous, Latina, and queer events around the country.
You say you think we need to go to war, well you're already in one, 'cause it's people like you that need to get
which I find that a lot of activism tends to be performative, at least from my point of view. So I appreciated that it was our job is to shield these kids, and that's it. Like we're not going to change their mind, because that's never going to happen. They're not going to change our mind. That's